Breaking news, next generation GLP-1 weight loss medication from Novo Nordisk, the manufacturer of WEGOVY, has some updates today, which I'm really excited to share with you. A whole bunch of stuff of the new weight loss drug, Amycretin versus Cagrisema versus Retatrutide versus tirzepatide versus semaglutide. We got a lot to talk about on today's episode. If we don't know each other first though, I'm Elizabeth, I'm Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 103 pounds the last 2 years of being on Mounjaro, Zepbound, and tirzepatide compound, the combination of all those because of the shortages. And I am a GLP-1 enthusiast. Zepbound and Mounjaro tirzepatide changed my life, and so I love sharing about GLP-1 medication. And let's go ahead and dive in on this breaking news. My source is Reuters. I will link down below all of the news articles that I'm going to be referencing throughout this video. We've got a ton of data that I'm really pumped to be talking about with this new medication from Novo Nordisk. And I haven't really talked about Amycretin. I keep trying to make sure I'm pronouncing that properly. Amycretin. So it's Novo Nordisk, just came out on January 24th, which today, as I'm filming this, that Novo Nordisk next gen shot shows 22% weight loss in early results. And you may say, ooh, tell me more, Countess. And I'd say, you bet your bottom dollar I will. It's a weekly injection that has dual mode action of drug maker. And it's also, so not only are they doing Novo Nordisk, not only is Novo Nordisk doing a weekly injection, they're doing also a pill test too. So there will be potentially a pill and an injection. And we know with all that goes into GLP-1 medications with the refrigeration, that massively increased our costs. That massively increased the operations behind it and having to travel. And I mean, it just is a lot. And so having something that would be pill format with this high of results, I am so excited. Y'all know I'm on the Cagrisema train that hopefully, God willing, will come out later this year in 2025 as another option for us, also from manufacturer Novo Nordisk. Honey, they are clinical trialing. They're clinical trialing, but it's like Wegovy. Amycretin mimics the gut hormone GLP-1, but it also mimics the effect of hunger suppressing I want to say pancreatic, but that's not the right word. Pancreatic hormone amylin. Novo Nordisk is under pressure to boost its development against Eli Lilly's Zepbound, because right now Zepbound is king. And Zepbound and Mounjaro are the same thing, by the way. You may say, oh my gosh, I'm on Mounjaro. It's the same thing as Zepbound, except it has different FDA approval. So if we say Mounjaro or Zepbound, same medication, is both tirzepatide, 2 different FDA approvals, which subsequently can massively change your insurance and also how much you're paying for it. But the late stage trial readout for another next generation obesity drug or GLP-1 drug is Cagrisema, and it proved to be a big disappointment. It came in underperforming. I'm still really excited about it, and if you want to see that video, check out the playlist and click like down below and subscribe. Share this with your bestie, by the way, if you've got somebody who's on a GLP-1 medication. But for me, I get so pumped. I'm on Zepbound 15 milligrams. That is the highest dose. There's nothing out in the market from a brand name manufacturer. Yes, I know some of you keep sharing with me about compounds, but I'm talking brand name. There's nowhere else in the brand name world to go to for a higher dose. So I am capped out. I am stuck. Mounjaro 15 milligrams, Zepbound 15 milligrams. That is the highest clinical data results on the market right now for brand names. And so this is exciting. Even though Cagrisema, the other upcoming, hopefully, GLP-1 medication did not do well, this one has done well. However, it's in clinical phase trial 1B or 2A. So we're still early. We're still early on these clinical trials. And we saw with Cagrisema in their early clinical trials, they also were crushing it until they didn't crush it as much as they are. We're going to talk about that too, though. It's still early, and not that many patients within the trial. Is the analyst for this? It was discussing this, that it's hoping to gain some faith in Novo Nordisk's pipeline as well, because early this year, a daily pill version of Novo's Amycretin showed to lead to a 13.1% weight loss just after 12 weeks and is boosting Novo Nordisk's share. So if you're a shareholder, there you go. It said in September that they're doing further studies of the Amycretin after data from the trial with the injectable version. The company said, Novo Nordisk, that results of the weekly Amycretin shots did not take into account the effect of trial participants interrupting or stopping their treatment course. As the norm, early stage trials, the main goal was to measure safety, and Novo said side effects were consistent with those widely used on GLP-1 therapies. And we know consistent side effects are diarrhea for gastrointestinal, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. If you have not seen my side effects help, make sure you do. One of the best things that I am obsessed with is drinkelement.com. They have been fabulous for my side effects. I highly, highly, highly recommend. If you're on a GLP-1 medication, if you're not on a GLP-1 medication, I love, and obviously you talk to your healthcare provider before starting any supplement, but I love these drinks. I bought them 2 years ago because an influencer told me to, and it was reputable. Influencer who I trusted, and I'm like, okay, so I bought them 2 years ago and I have taken them ever since on my 103-pound weight loss journey. It has helped with all of my side effects, which I've had all of them: diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, twice vomited, and diarrhea, nausea, constipation, because it has potassium, magnesium, and sodium. Yes, it's salty. We're supposed to have salt though. We're supposed to have sodium. And so for me, these have been welcomed. My routine has changed a little bit with them because it's been 2 years. I'm gonna evolve. I was obsessed with the raspberry salt. My son is still obsessed with watermelon, by the way. He literally asked yesterday. He wanted to take one of the cans in with his lunch. I'm like, sure, the watermelon ones. I now use the orange salt ones, and I used to say I 100% take them on day 0, day 1, day 2 of my shot. I now take them every day. Like, I don't miss a day because it tastes so good to me. I feel so good having them. I don't have leg cramps. I don't have those gastrointestinal issues, and I know part of it is because of LMNT. I do 1/3 of the orange pack throughout the day, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So 1/3 goes into a 40-ounce water tumbler because I like a lot of water in mine with my nugget ice maker. And then I do another 1/3 and then another 1/3, both of which are all in. So I have 120 ounces of water with my electrolyte packet. Usually by noon is my goal. Typically it's like 1 or 2. I try to do it before my son gets home. And so for me, that helps me also with clean eating. I really like it. And if you want to get 8 free packs of LMNT, go to drinkelement.com/queen, QUEEN. It's also linked down in the description link below. Massive helped me with my side effects, and I highly recommend it. Their stuff is amazing, 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 amazing. They do have unflavored ones too, by the way. I'm an orange girl these days. I'm an orange girl. What if you viewers told me about it and I was like, yes, then I got back on my orange kick. I'm hyper focused on orange right now, but highly recommend, highly recommend. Okay, so let's go to our study. 22% in 36 weeks for the Amycretin. Amycretin, I gotta get my pronunciation chart back out. 22% in 36 weeks. Now, if you compare that, you might be like, okay, I don't really know what that means. Okay, for Zepbound, it was 72 weeks, 16% to 21%. So 16 to 21% in 72 weeks. 36 weeks, 22% versus 72 weeks for Zepbound. And they had the highest was 22.5%. So this is at 22% in 36 weeks, right? Now we saw something major pomps and circumstance, like super, super excitement over Cagrisema coming out of the gate earlier on in earlier part of the clinical trials. So I'm trying not to get my hopes too high up about these because we'll have to see. It's still in that 1B2A clinical part of the trial. So Zepbound, we talked about. WEGOVY is 5 to 15% in 68 weeks. 5 to 15% weight reduction is what we're talking about, percentage of weight reduction. So that right there, and you guys probably can't read my handwriting, but this is the other big kahunas coming in. We've got big kahunas. So these are the big kahunas for the incoming drugs, which I'm excited about because I need to titrate up on a dose. Brand name. I'm talking brand name, not compounds. So Retatrutide had 20% or more after 48 weeks in phase 2 of its clinical trials. And it was 26% had more than a 30% reduction in that 48 weeks. Y'all, 30% reduction. I'm like, y'all, I'm excited about Retatrutide, but that we won't, if it goes through everything, wouldn't be till 2026 marketplace. Cagrisema marketplace, probably 2025 from my sources. And these are all weekly injections, by the way. It's 22.7% after 68 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So 22.7% after 68 weeks compared to our Zepbound, which was 16 to 22%. So and that was at 72 weeks. The highest of Zepbound being 22.5% and Cagrisema 22.7% after 68 weeks. So about the same as Zepbound. But I've told you guys, this is great because it's making more competition in the marketplace. Like I am so excited about that. I'm like, you know why? I'm an economist's daughter. You know what competition does? It changes the price point. It will make prices lower by having more competition. Okay, next slide. One of the things I always say is I get so jazzed about these new GLP-1 medications. Like it makes my heart so happy. I'm like, yes, the future is so bright. But what can I do today? Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today. What can I do today to help me on my weight loss journey? Because I'm still on it, y'all. I mean, I am trudging the road of happy destiny here. I'm 103 pounds down, which is fabulous, but I still have 27 pounds more to go, technically, to be considered not overweight, just considered a healthy weight. And so which is crazy to me, by the way. It's crazy to me. So what I'm focusing in on and what I want to encourage you of, I get excited about this future stuff, but also I want to live in the here and now. Where my hands and feet are is where I want to be living. And so what can I do today? Appetite changes. Well, with my appetite changes, because of the blessings of GLP-1 medication, there's hunger changes, habit changes, or is it thirst related? Which again is one of the many reasons why I go back to LMNT electrolytes, is frequently for me, it's just thirst or having something with my hand to hold. Recently, I've switched over. I'm really loving the Sip Sip Hooray 40-ounce tumblers. They're glass and they're super cute. And I ordered a bunch for Valentine's Day, and for Christmas, I had ordered some for Christmas, and for fall, I had ordered some for fall. And I just find them very cute. And they have coaster tumblers, or yeah, they're coasters for your tumblers. It literally, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. But so is it hunger? Is it habit? Is it thirst? Which one is it, right? And I frequently find it's thirst for me, or it's an old habit. I'm like, oh, that's a habit. It's not that I'm hungry actually at all. I'm not hungry at all. And so that for me has been one of the biggest takebacks of my power, is these appetite changes of really getting into, is it hunger, habit, or thirst? Number two is my side effects. Keeping a grip on that, of where they're not too much, but also where they're manageable. I actually have welcome side effects. I don't mind them. Like if I get nauseous, I'm not excited to be nauseous, don't get me wrong. But also, it's hard to eat a bunch when I'm nauseous. You know what I mean? Like for me, the side effects are not horribly, horribly bad. And if you haven't seen my full side effects video, make sure you click like and subscribe and check that out down below. In the playlist, because I've talked ad nauseum about every specific, like constipation, there's a whole video on that. Diarrhea, there's a whole video on that. Vomiting, there's a whole video on that. From my experience, strength and hope. And again, none of this is medical advice because I'm not medical at all. I'm an enthusiast who's been on this medication for over 2 years. I was mocked at the beginning. You're gonna have 2 heads. So many people threw stones, and I'm like, I'm just gonna live my life and see how this goes. And I'm so grateful I did. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Number 3, of power I can take back on my GLP-1 weight loss journey, whether I'm just starting or whether I've been on it for years now, is working out. I don't mean you have to go into the gym right now and weight train, although I love hearing when people do, but even just walking. Hitting 10,000 steps in a day for me, I have to have focus. If I don't focus in on that, I'm not gonna hit my walking goals. And so that's something I wanna encourage you too, of you can be in control of that. You can be in control of that. One of our awesome group members is Sheridan, and she does arm weights. Blows my mind. I'm like, you are so amazing. And there is no truly like physical limitation. Like she's like, I'm doing arm lifting weights. And I'm like, you are so inspiring. And so I love hearing stories like that. It makes me so happy because we don't have to let our limitations define us. Number 4, reframing food perspective. So just an example for me of what does that even mean, Elizabeth? What does that even mean? Okay, so yesterday I wanted dessert. And I wanted something sweet, and we had it was one of my Costco pre-made meals. It was good. I hit my protein goals, I hit everything, and I had saved leftover, because I'm in a calorie deficit each day. I had saved over 200 calories to get dessert, and I wanted to go to Sonic. If you have a Sonic near you, you're lucky, and get not a nerd slush, but just a slushie. I wanted a slushie. And the blue raspberry small, you can have almost the whole small, is close to 200 calories. I wasn't gonna have the whole thing. Anyways, we got there and my sweet husband ordered me a Nerds slushie, and those are actually 400 calories for the small. And I was like, oh, he felt so badly. I'm like, oh, babe, because I always get the Nerds slushies. But I was like, I am really monitoring my calorie deficit. Like, this is the way I'm going to lose these last 27 pounds. I've got to track. I've got to stay on it with nourishing, awesome foods. But also, I can have a dessert. And so, not every day, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, where there's balance. So having this Sonic slushie, I just had half of it because it was 400 calories, so I had half the container, 200 calories. Y'all, I was so happy. I was so happy, but also I was so proud of myself because of the victory. That was a big victory for me. Big, big victory. Because it went back to, I didn't go into my normal habit, which was just drink the whole thing. No, actually, I'm not gonna have the extra 200 calories. I'm gonna stay in a calorie reduction. And I'm also gonna make sure I have tracked my protein with that too, because if I get to the end of the night and I have not eaten my protein, I am hungry. And so I'm really, really learning because like I said, I'm at the highest possible dose and I have appetite suppression, but I'm near the end of my shot. Today's shot day, actually. After I do this video, I'm gonna go do my injection. And I keep trying to decide, I'm like, where should I do it? The back of my arm, my stomach, or my thigh? Usually the back of my arm does really well, but recently my thigh has been awesome. So I'm like debating, I'm like, where should I do it? But I digress. So reframing food for me, reframing that dessert of I can have anything just within the portion size has been huge. And so I'm having more of these victories, right? Evidence building. The more I have evidence, the more I'm believing it. Evidence, believing it. I have evidence now multiple times that I can have desserts, just small portions of them, and still be in a calorie deficit. I'm still having nutritious, healthy foods. I'm still having, I'm hitting my protein, so for muscle mass loss. I'm hitting the nutrition goals of having vegetables and fruits, and so I'm hitting my fiber, and I'm hitting my calorie deficit. And this feels mage. And so I want to encourage you, if you've had something major like this, like these little or big victories, non-scale victories, tell me in the comments below. I love reading them. I may not reply to every comment, but I definitely do see them. And if they're long, you need to put paragraphs in between because I'm not dyslexic, but I have forms of hard comprehension if it's a long paragraph. So make it bullet points for me. But I love reading y'all's non-scale victories. It makes me so happy. That was mine, was literally having last night a Sonic slushie, not eating the whole thing. I felt so satiated. Now here's the other counter to that of diet culture for me before GLP-1 medication is I would have not had it and I would have white knuckled it and I would have binge eat or eaten way more than the 200 calories by just not having the dang thing. You see what I'm saying? And anyone else in that boat? Then I would have been like, well, I'm going to go get a large nerd slushie that's actually 1,200 calories. Probably would have been the ending for me. And then my stomach would have hurt because on GLP-1 medication, I can't really do that. I've done that a couple of times and it's not fared well with side effects. So literally changing the habit for me, these are the things that I talk about of where, from my perspective of changing my food perspective, which was very, very disordered, even though I was obese, morbidly obese, very disordered relationship with food being in that space. And so now 103 pounds later, I've really worked on things like this of having dessert and not having guilt, shame, or condemnation around food and celebrating in these victories and sharing it with people who will celebrate with me, because if you've made it this far in the video, you probably get it, and you're probably in the similar boat as me. Someone made a great quote today that I was reading. It was so good. It was like, we're all in the same ocean, but we're in different boats. And so I want to encourage you from my videos, take what you want and leave the rest. All of my video parts of it, some people love the shopping, hence the reason why I'm called Countess of Shopping. If you don't like the shopping parts, just skip ahead. You know what I'm saying? Or if you don't like certain things, just skip ahead. Take what you want and leave the rest. But celebrating in these victories truly is a common collective thing, whether we take a moment to pause and focus in on them or not. But I want to encourage you, focus in on them. From my experience, strength, and hope, it makes a big difference. It is so much more fun to celebrate in these little victories than like brushing them off or not thinking that they're important. They are. They are. Because literally every pound I drop is me changing my life. Truly. Being a better mom, being a better wife, because I physically can now do all of these things where I couldn't before. And so things like, going back to the original part of the next generation GLP-1s, is the Amycretin, 22% in 36 weeks, that is now on my radar. Cagrisema is on my radar though because it comes out later this year. It comes out, hopefully, fingers crossed. More information is needed, but probably in 2025. And you know Retatrutide is always on my radar, but that's not till 2026, and we've got some time before then. So I hope that this video is helpful. Make sure you go check out, that's not what I want to show you guys, drinkelement.com/queen, Queen. And special thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. That's how we do daily shows, and I'm so grateful for the sponsors that we do have. So show support, show love. If you're looking to do reorders or the canned drinks, I'm obsessed with their stuff. I highly recommend. We just actually stocked our fridge downstairs with more of the cans. I said we, it was my husband. So I'm laughing. I was like, actually, it was the count. It wasn't me at all. Let's keep it real. It was the count who did it. Our emoji of the day is a superstar, because you're a superstar. So superstar and emojis of the day help me to get to know you better because I care. And people who do the emojis of the day, I see you pop up. I see you and I get to know you better. And that's how we have, like, Joanne, for example. She came to the Vegas meetup. And so she'd always, like, I knew her name in the chat. I was like, oh my gosh, like meeting people then in real life. But also if we never even meet in real life, if you're across the pond or in the United States where we never meet, still me just knowing you and literally becoming friends through people through the comments. And our community is awesome. Make sure if you have not already gotten into the free group, my free weekly email, all of that stuff is listed in the description link below. And your question of the day, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me that as well. My sweet, beautiful friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Counting our blessings because life is delicious. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Who's excited about this news? This gal is. Love you. See you tomorrow.